All right, I'm waiting on the bing, then we're gonna get started. As soon as I hear the bing, we getting started. As soon as I hear it, we're going. All right, we're going to start. This is Jamil Salibs of me out of Manning, South Carolina. Sincerely thanking everyone for tuning in. I'm wide open today. I thank you all for tuning in. This is part 2 of They Replicated Tyrone. If you have not seen the sci-fi movie in the tradition of black exploitation movies from the 60s and 70s, please go check that out. We got a very powerful show for you today. It's going to take about an hour to get it done, or maybe less, because I got to travel in a minute. I'll be back in about an hour or so, but I got to make this trip. So I thank everyone for tuning in. I really hope that you will go back and check out part 1 of They Replicated Tyrone. The reason I use the word replicate, because it's a constant, repetitive creation of the same mindset, the same type of person in a ghetto montage. For all of you gangsters and thugs out there, preachers, pastors, politicians, and professional men and women, 95% of the thoughts that you have that makes you think that you are original are programmed into your mind. There is no question about it. We've all been programmed to think that we are thinking original thoughts when we are not thinking original thoughts. I got the proof of that today. I got proof of that. 100% proof. Released through the Freedom of Information Act. So it's public information. You can get it if you want. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to give you some information today. And it's going to answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. My son and I were talking about the mindset of women today and how they think and how they're in such a fantasy world that they would feel more comfortable if you lied to them than if you would tell them the truth. So we're going into part 2 today, social programming, leading the blind. This is Jamil Salibs Amir. We're talking about Fontaine. We're talking about Yo-Yo, and we're talking about Slick Charles. I will be right back after this intro.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong. Took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone. And then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone. Solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one. Right to left counted, 9 and then 1. Left to right, switch it, 1 and then 9. West to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.
All right. Sincerely thank everyone that will tune in. Please like and share this information. I realize now the more information that I put out, the more emotionally sad I become, because I realize that if you're not getting the first part of what God has been giving me over the last 35 years, you're definitely not going to grasp onto this. But this is more a last ditch desperate effort to bring factual proof. Because a lot of you have been saying that Jamil thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's this. What's wrong with trying to be more intelligent? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. If you don't go by the process of how this world says you're supposed to be intelligent, by getting degrees or going to college or whatever, somebody co-signing for you, then the audacity of you to think that you can be intelligent without somebody telling you that you're intelligent. So we're at a point now where we must begin to express God's desire, Allah's desire for the world, because we're in a time where things are going to get very difficult. Here's the first thing for today. I lost all of my notes, so I'm going to be coming right off the top of my head, with the exception of what I will be reading from a top secret document that has been released that is no longer top secret. But it compares how they designed Boeing 747s, airplanes, engineering airplanes, and fuel trajectory, and how the airplane will fail, and how the airplane can accelerate and excel in the air, go higher. What happens when it goes higher? What happens when it goes lower? Scientists studied our condition based upon aeronomics. engineering. And they said we can apply this information to control a society, to control a people. So we are under definite control. This, as beautiful as this world is, this is not God's world. This is Satan's world, according to scripture. But there is a place in it that we can live comfortable in it and not be of it. So we're trying to escape the matrix of Satan's world. And the only way you can escape that matrix is through truth. And someone has to take that truth and become a truth bearer. So we're going to go into this quick because I got a lot of things to do. We're talking about Yo-Yo. We're talking about Fontaine. We're talking about Slick James. They cloned Tyrone, but I changed the word clone to they replicated Tyrone, because all that you see in every neighborhood is the same scenario: the loud music, the loud cars. We spend more money on our cars than we do on our homes. We spend more money on our clothes than we do on our homes, because with my clothes and my car, I'm going out into the street. We're addicted to drugs. We're addicted to church. We're addicted to money. We're addicted to all of these things that has been programmed and handed to us so that we could be made under control. Now, there is a real church. There is a real purpose for money. There is a real desire. A person desires to have a nice car and understands what that means, everything that comes with it. But how we were controlled, how we were programmed, that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you have not seen the first video, they replicated Tyrone Part 1. Go back and check that out. We talked about the difference between Fontaine and Tyrone. I want to put this on the table right now. Go back and look at the movie again. It's on Netflix. If you notice, there were white people in the movie with afros. When Fontaine came face to face with the original Tyrone, with the original Fontaine, the original person who cloned everything, he told him that we succeeded at taking all, and I'm paraphrasing, taking all of the black out of the black person, but the only thing we could not change was the hair. So you see these white folks who are really black folks with white skin, all of their pigmentation has been taken out. They took out all of the pigmentation. Now, I want you to look this up. This is a fact. The melanin in the skin of black people is inside of computers and cell phones. They use melanin inside of computers and cell phones. So Fontaine sees his original self, who tells him, "You're not even the original. I'm the original." And the reason I saw what they did to my brother, and I know, and his idea of attacking the situation was to make everybody white. So I'm going to kill all of the stereotypical Negroes in the ghetto. But the way we are going to make that a reality is to take the whole Yo-Yo, the drug dealer Fontaine, and the pimp Slick James, and in every community, we're going to make them the stars. We're going to make them the thing you want to be. We're going to do that so that whatever they tell you to do, that's what you'll do. We're talking about replicating ghetto situations. Do you know there was a time when black men decided they were going to pull their pants up? So in order to change that dynamic, they started you to buying expensive underwear. Now you want to show people that you got on $100 underwear with that stinky streak in the bottom of it. So now you want to show your underwear, so you will pull your pants down and show your underwear to show people that you can afford, which you can't afford it because you don't own anything, but that you can falsify the idea of being able to afford expensive. My underwear even costs a lot of money. And these red bottom shoes, the lowest part of your body. Do you know that there is a marketing campaign how to sell to black people? And you all think that you are buying these things because that's what I want. I'm a thug. I do what I want. You're not doing what you want. You're being programmed to do it. Every scenario in They Clone Tyrone is a realistic thing in society. I hate that I lost my notes, but I'm trying, and I pray that God will give me everything I need in my head and in this book right now. But he cloned everything out of black people except for the hair. What do you think they did to us because they couldn't remove the hair, the eyebrows, and the eyelashes? You answer the question. They gave you fake hair, so you see black women with blonde wigs, hair all the way down to the heel of their feet, knowing good and well at one time you could grow it, but now you can't. Nails, eyelashes cut off and drawn on, not for those of you who don't have them, but those of you who deliberately cut them off. So there is a cloning process going on, a replicative process really going on in our community. And if you're not careful, every single facet of your community, from the rich to the poor and the in-between, will be doing the same thing. Because I got news for you. I used to hustle marijuana when it was illegal. And all of your pastors and preachers dealt with me because I kept their business private. All of your upscale folks who worked at Federal Mogul at the time called me, beat on the beeper. I had a beeper back then. I meet them on their lunch break, and they get their marijuana for the week. And I was selling it by the ounce. Back then, having a pound of marijuana, you was that guy. Now y'all selling 100 pounds. But I know the concept. It's social engineering. So let's go into this thing today. Remember, I talked about the hair and how Fontaine said we cloned everything out of them, but we could not get that nappy hair off of them. So those white people you see in the videos, the DJ, the bartender, the guy that was with Yo-Yo in the room, the guy that Jamie Foxx shot, they are all black people with white skin. And remember, I talked about politicians and preachers who are now the new Klansmen. Remember, I talked about the gang members who do more killing in the black community than the Ku Klux Klan. They no longer have to do it. Black people do it. We're the new white people. It's all, what's the word, symbolic. Just as this book right here is more symbolic. Y'all do realize that King James did not write one word in this book. Not one. He sanctioned the book, but he didn't write it. He co-signed it. He had a ghostwriter, several of them. They teach that in history class now. And so to erase that history, now they are like Governor Santos in Florida, all of the gangs and all that over there, Trick Daddy and all of them fighting with each other. But this man is erasing black history, calling it, they have an attack on the woke generation. We're talking about they cloned Tyrone. They replicated Tyrone. Part 2, social programming. Now, let me tell you this. Did you know that someone purchased a surplus printer, government surplus printer? And this is all in the Freedom of Information. So I'm not saying anything that should get me in any trouble. It's fact. It's in a book, and I'm going to read some of it for you today. Last week we came out of the Bible. This week we coming out of book. We're 13 minutes in. I got to go in a few. All right. Someone purchased the surplus printer for parts. When they opened the surplus printer, they saw paper in the printer. The printer had a book in it. The printer had a blueprint in it. The blueprint was entitled, see if I can get this on the picture, Silent Weapons for Quiet War. Silent Weapons for Quiet War. That was the blueprint. Silent Weapons for Quiet War. Programming society to kill itself, to turn on itself, to fall in love with things that make us feel good. Characteristics or characters of this, what I'm reading, put in your minds the pimp, Slick James, the prostitute Yo-Yo, and Fontaine, and also Tyrone, who didn't even know he thought he was the original OG gangster. Come to find out, there's an OG gangster in every town. Remember, I did the handwriting on the wall. Go look at that, where I told you all that those tough people in the community, those bullies, people were going to start standing up to the bullies and killing the bullies. And I told you, by God's permission, within 3 months it would start. It started. Not because I said so, but because I'm repeating to you what God said to me. Whether it's on the street level or the political level, it started. A lot of your politicians are going to fold this term. They're going down. Not because they're the color of their skin, but because they became bullies. You can't say what you want to say, or else they're going to stop talking to you. They're going to get mad at you. As long as you're smiling and grinning at whatever they say, you're fine. So what did they do in the movie? They gave us everything that kept us smiling, skinning, and grinning. They attacked everything that kept us smiling, skinning, and grinning. And when the prostitute Yo-Yo was brought up in the scenario, they said, oh, she's a real one, but she's not a problem because there's so few of them. They're not a problem. There are so few real people. See, Slick James was Slick James. Fontaine thought he was Fontaine, but Yo-Yo really wanted to be something. She really wanted to achieve something. All right, let's go. I got to go. So I'm going to read some of this information that was in this. I don't even want to say what it was in. But it is Silent Weapons for Quiet War. Please bear with me. I'm gonna go through the book very quickly. But I got to read this part because this pretty much tells you how they have utilized engineering of a Boeing 747 to decide how they're going to map not only out on black folk, but on society as a whole. That's where we are. Let me read this verbatim right now. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity. I don't think I need my glasses for this. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the source and control of natural energy and social energy. So when you study natural science, you're studying social energy. Theoretically expressed as economics. This is the study of the source and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy source. When you see the 5% brothers talking about today's math, that's real. Mathematics is the primary source of life, and it's being studied on how to control us. And the way they controlled us in the movie is real. They give us the things that we love that make us feel good, dancing and singing and eating chicken and perms and pimping and hoeing and drug selling and drug using and living in a ghetto situation, even though we claim that all we did in life to get money was to get out of the ghetto. We die right in that same situation that we claim we were trying to get out of. Every rapper you know died in the hood, coming from a club. They ain't die in church. They ain't die at the mosque. They died in a hood situation because we're liars to ourselves by saying that we're doing what we're doing to come up. No, you're doing what you're doing because you want to be a nigga star, a nickel star. I use the word nickel instead of the other word because they'll bleep me out. Let's continue. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is a primary energy science. And the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. We're the pawns. The king is the bookkeeper. And he understands how to change the methodology of the bookkeeping based upon our behavior. So marijuana was illegal until they kept stopping you guys up and down 95 and finding out that y'all got $250,000, $1 million and drugs in the car. That's too much money. We got to figure out a way that we can make the money legally and still arrest the nickels. All right. All science is merely a means to an end, period. The means is knowledge. The end is control. Whoever has the knowledge has control, not who has the money, who has the money and the knowledge. Because we get the money and we still stupid. If you notice at the end of the movie, they cloned Tyrone, they were still in the ghetto. You never guess where I'm at right now. Still in the hood. Didn't go nowhere. Somebody just tried to erase you as a people. And if the movie ended with them in a paradise, it would have never come out. But the movie ended with the psychological idea that, no, nigga, the hood, nickel, the hood. And that's where it ended. Nothing changed. So all they're going to do is change the method of the science and math and come at us again. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge. The end is control. The end always justifies the means. Beyond this remains only one issue. Who will be the beneficiary? In 1954, there was the issue of primary concern. Although the call moral issue were raised in view of the laws of natural selection, was agreed that a nation or world of people, check this out, who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Thus, people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. So we are considered not even human, three-fifths of a human being. We are considered minority nothings. Let them nickels kill themselves in the hood. We're going to make a hierarchy where we're going to let the drugs, it's got to stay. Because there's got to be something for the young nickels to look up to. I asked you all to help me get these young people to the Black History Museum in Orangeburg. Y'all ain't helping me. I asked you all to help me get to old Jordan School so we can make it out of museum. Y'all ain't helping me. We did the Juneteenth where y'all out there saying we made it, and I'm telling you, we did not make anything. Not one person captured my words out there, and if they did, they erased it. Same thing with they clone Tyrone. After all of that killing and fighting and all that, right back in the ghetto. That's where it ended at. Let me continue on. They've made a decision. We're animals. That's why now they're showing you all of these animal videos where it appears that an animal has the intellect of a human. You can raise a cat, dog, monkey, treat them, put them clothes on them, treat them good. If they get out of the door, they gone. They have no moral connection to you. They come back when they're hungry or when they need some place to sleep. They like you, but they're not human. They didn't come up to our level. We went down to their level. We licking dogs in the mouth. That's how we're seen on the scale of humanity. We're 3/5 human. We're not, I don't care. You're just a Brooks Brother suit wearing, Fugiami or whoever else, red bottom shoe wearing animal. My ears are ringing. God is talking. Such people are beasts of burden on the table of choice and consent. Consequently, it is the interest of future world order, peace, and tranquility. It was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with an ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy wealth of the undisciplined and irresponsible many into the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, and worthy few. So, man, give a nickel, 10,000, 100,000, $200,000. He ain't gonna do nothing but spend it. Buy a bunch of cars, buy a bunch of expensive clothes, a bunch of rings and watches. That's why they let people like 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes. Once they see that they can use these parts as a pieces of a puzzle, you might be a king in the hood, but you a pawn in the game of life on the grand chessboard. I got to try my best by God's permission to raise the vibratory rate of my words in order to break the cycle of ignorance and have us to look into the truth of the matter of things. My son used to rap, and recently he did a rap song because he was hanging with his partner, and he ain't been on the mic in a while, but he said a rap song. And then I heard it. He brought it to me. I heard it, and I got scared. I got scared for him. And I didn't tell him at the time because I didn't want to break his heart. Then I called him one day, and he said, yeah, I'm vibing with everybody thinking I'm a celebrity. And I had to tell him, your voice is so strong. Your conviction of your words are so powerful. You got to be careful what you say, because everything that is put out is going to come back. And when it comes back, it's not your friend. On every level of life, there is a devil waiting on you to say something. Wishmaster, that they can come in. So I'm scared for him because he's that powerful in his vibrational frequency. But most of the time we don't even know that. But somebody knows that, and they use it against us. So they want to take the money out of the hands of the ignorant and put it into the hands of those who know what to do with it. And I've said to us over and over again that we have nothing in our community of value. In the movie, they cloned Tyrone. Where was the value in the ghetto? Where was the value? There wasn't even a mother present. 26 minutes in. Consequently, in the interest of, okay, I read that. In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and apply new weapons, which, as it turns out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principle of operation and public appearance as to earn for themselves the name silent weapons. This is a secret document. This is a document. This is from the Freedom of Information Act. You can get this. In conclusion, the objective of economic research as conducted by magnates of capital banking and the industries of commodities, which is goods and services, is the establishment of an economy which is totally predictable and manipulatable. I told you there is nothing you doing or thinking or I'm doing or think. The only time that we come out of this matrix, we literally get so afraid we go back. That's what the drugs are for. You wake up not high, drunk, in a fantasy, and it's so scary to see the world the way it really is. You got to go get your fix. So you got to go back to the church where you get your fix, the political system where you get your fix, the job where you get your fix, the hood where you get your fix. The people who are fake and phony and liars and tricksters, that's where you get your fix until it kills you. And it will kill you, because when you do something and get away with it, you start saying to yourself, nobody can stop me. I'm the best. And that ripple effect comes back and says, no, you're not. And some little dude, like Tupac said in his song, that's the way it is. Some dude that you roughed up way back, coming back after all of these years, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. That's the way it is. Trying to teach you something. What goes around comes around. Might be a big circle. It might be a 60-inch rim. Might be a 10-inch rim. But it's coming. They replicated Tyrone. That's what we're seeing. From graduates to sports to everything else. Nothing in this realm is preparing us for what is to come after it. We're trying to build a heaven in hell. And it's the most difficult, impossible thing that we can do without proper instructions, because Satan already got a blueprint to stop it. In order to achieve a total predictable economy, the low-class elements of the society must be brought under total control. Like I said, us low-class folk, total control. I'm talking about your low-class politicians who ain't never had nothing, but you give them something. You know how you be talking on the movement until you get something and then you start stuttering? Still low class. You're still young money. They must be housebroken, trained, and assigned a yoke and long-term social duties from a very early age before they have an opportunity to question the propriety of the matter. In order to achieve such conformity, the lower class family unit must be disintegrated by process of increasing preoccupation of the parents and the establishment of government-operated daycare centers for the occupational orphan children. So we're going to keep you busy trying to get the bag. Get the bag, get the bag. You can never get the bag because you ain't going to never be satisfied. But you're going to forget about your children. You see them probably 10 hours out of a week. Bring them home from school. Get your homework done. Get out of my face. Go watch TV. I got to sleep. I'm tired. I see y'all when I get home. I'll be home by 12. Get home, they going to school. Then you try to tell them to do something, and they're like, man, get out of my face. You don't talk to me like that. Who are you? It's programmed. Chasing the bag. I just got my girl. I got her a Mercedes Benz. You ain't never done nothing for me, mama. I got you a Mercedes Benz. They don't love you, and there's no love in it. They love the order of things that has been created. This world is their womb and their mother. Silent weapons for quiet wars. It's for real. It's in a book. It's in a book. Read a little bit more, then we're going to stop. I thought I would finish, but I won't be able to finish. In order to achieve such conformity to the lower class, the quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the mode of ignorance isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible. To the inferior class, which such as an initial handicap, even bright lower class individuals. This is what I was talking about Yo-Yo in They Clone Tyrone. This is her. This is me. This is many of us. Even bright lower class individuals have little, if any, hope of extricating themselves from their assignment lot in life. This form of slavery is essential to maintain some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class. You must stop anybody who has a little bit of insight from ever being popular. So assign someone to them who every time they say something that somebody comes behind them. Yeah, well, you know, he too big, he be talking, man. Y'all think this is a game. You think so small of yourself that you don't think nobody would care about what you do or say. T.D. Jakes says on every level of your life, God assigns you a devil. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the same thing. T.D. Jakes said the same devil that was with you in the ghetto, God will raise that devil just like he raised you so they can be a devil on your next level. T.D. Jakes said that. Man, this thing is so intricately put together. And you sitting up here wondering why you watching TV and fantasizing about somebody else's life. Read a little bit more. This particular area says descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. Then I'm gonna stop there, I think. Everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon. Listen, by its creators, but only in its own manner of junctioning. It shoots situations instead of bullets. Propelled by data processing instead of a chemical reaction, originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder. So they give the nickels the guns for the killing, but they're using mathematics and science to control us quietly. Even the nickel with the gun that's the head, the OG top, he's controlled. And even the little nickel down on the corner is controlled. Every facet of society is controlled. The Bible tells you that. That's why in the end, after God keeps sending prophet and messenger after prophet and messenger, and we rejected it, Revelation says, that's it, kill them all. Well, we in Revelations and we dying. I died. I went up when I died, and I saw cities. I saw islands and oceans. I didn't have to come back. I didn't want to come back. God sent me back. But we dying. And if you look closely in my eyes, you can still see death right there. Only thing holding me up is God, is Allah. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing. Death is, you can see it. For those of you who don't know, I have to sleep sitting up every night on a breathing machine. I may sleep 2 hours a night. But I take advantage of every moment that God gives me to try to make things better for the next generation. We can't keep going like this. Y'all are not in control with them 500,000, 200,000. Yeah, I'm 200 up. You 200 up killing your people. That's how you up. There's a frequency that's coming back for that. They cloned Tyrone. At the end of the movie, Ghetto was still right there. And they didn't tell you how they handled the government or the organization that tried to destroy the people. All of that was left wide open. The cancer is still right there. All they're going to do is up the game and redo the process. We can't arrest all these people for selling drugs. Let's make drugs legal. Now, every little white dick, Tom, Dick, and Harry got a legal license to sell marijuana, and our people still in jail. I'm not being racist about this. This fact, man, it's right here. Descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. They use words and patterns and images, but we the crazies that think we gonna solve the problem with the gun. My mother passed away, and I had a dream about her one night, and I came to my front door, and there was this big, ugly blob that was in my front yard, and it frightened me. And my mother appeared over to my left. I went and I got my gun and I pointed, and she said, "Don't shoot it." I said, "I'm gonna kill it." She said, "You can't kill it. Don't shoot it." I didn't listen to my mother, and I shot it, and it started moving. And it moved over to my neighbor's house, and I shot it again, and it morphed into a golden Labrador retriever and jumped up on me and started licking my hand. And it wasn't until months later that I realized my mother was telling me all it's going to do is morph into something else with the same mindset, but more prepared to dodge the bullet. We almost done, 37 minutes in. Then I got to go. I really got to go. It makes no obvious explosive noise, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life. Yet it makes an unmistakable noise, causes unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakably interferes with daily social life, i.e., unmistakable to a trained observer, one who knows what to look for. The public cannot comprehend this weapon, and therefore cannot believe that they are being attacked and subdued by a weapon. Jesus came to tell the people about the weapon, what Satan was using. They couldn't comprehend it. So he's telling them what Satan is doing, and they didn't believe him. But now today, y'all claim y'all believe him, but still being manipulated by that same entity. All of us are. One of the reasons I'm not too concerned about people and things anymore is because I know I'm on borrowed time. So the only thing that matters to me is this: truth, and trying to make the world better than it was when I came here. Because the way I was treated by my own family, the way they ran ahead of me and talked trash because I chose a different religion, because I didn't get off the ground right. And my sisters knew why, because they knew how we came up, but still talked and put poison. And now let the world tell it I'm a drug addict, alcoholic who ain't got no job. I ain't never drink alcohol to excess a day in my life. And I work all day long. I started my own business by God's permission, with my own equipment by God's permission, something none of them ever did. But they will never go and correct it, because that would means that they made a mistake. My baby sister, Tiny, God rest her soul, she came to me one day and said, when I'm gone, and that bothers me to this day, she said, you will not have any more family. I'm the last one. And I was scared to ask her, why you saying that? But that's what she said. Show us God is my witness. She said, I'm the last one. This is where we are. They cloned Tyrone. And I'm going to read this part and then I got to stop. So we're going to have to do a part 3. And I think part 3 is going to be the last part. I think we gave enough today for y'all to soak this in. The public cannot comprehend this weapon and therefore cannot believe that they are being attacked and subdued by a weapon. The public might instinctively feel that something is wrong, but because of the technical nature of the silent weapon, they cannot express their feeling in a rational way or handle the problem with intelligence. Something just off. I can feel it. So they had to make marijuana legal in every community now. All you smell is weed. Every car, all you smell is weed. And they will arrest you for being drunk with alcohol and driving, but they'll let you go for being high on marijuana and driving, but inebriated is inebriated. You know something wrong. Therefore, they cannot know how to therefore, they do not know how to cry for help and do not know how to associate with others to defend themselves against it. You all right? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Crazy. And won't say, man, something is off. No, the Lord gonna take care of it. The Lord. Who is the Lord? Who is Jesus? Where is he? You won't even ask that question. Nothing intelligent. Because if you ask, God will answer. I ask, what are you? 35 years ago, who are you? I'm tired of running from thing to thing. What are you? Where are you? Are you real? Talk to me. Don't tell nobody nothing. Talk to me. And he started talking. And there ain't nobody else in this town talk like Jamil talk. That's why y'all think I'm a nut. But gradually it's all coming to pass. But you won't say, Jamil was right. I don't want the credit. Give it to God. But do something about it. We about to close. The public might instinctively feel that so they don't know how to cry for it. When a silent weapon is applied gradually, this is where I'm going to stop today. When a silent weapon is applied gradually, the public adjusts and adapts to its presence and learns to tolerate its encroachment on their lives until the pressure, psychological, via economics, you're poor, you're broke, you can never come up out of it. You can't remember. I did a commentary too. One is called the N-word and the flea, and it shows how social programming, even if you put a bunch of fleas in a bottle and they start to jump around and you move that bottle, they will jump around in the shape of the bottle because they're programmed to do that. And they will not change the shape ever until one of them accidentally breaks the pattern. That was yo-yo. And in the N-word and the frog, I talked about and I gave an example, an actual physical example that they experimented with, where they put a frog in cold water on the stove. And when they gradually turned the temperature up, the frog adapted to the temperature until the frog stayed in the water and boiled to death. But when they put the frog in the hot water, the frog jumped right out. So this says when a silent weapon is applied gradually, the public adjusts and adapts to the city. Now, I'm just a G. I'm just a G. I adapt to anything, baby. And you think that's you. But you're programmed to do that. And you're going to die. Not an honorable death, but you're going to start to stink and rot while you live. That's why colognes and perfumes are so important, because you stink. We stink. We rot. We're rotting. Our hair falling out. Our eyes changing colors. We got to put in contact. We got to put on a wig. We got to put stuff on our bodies. Our fingernails won't even grow no more. Got to put fake fingernails on. So when the pressure becomes too great and they crack up, that's what it says. Because they compared the pressure of a plane to the pressure of human makeup. And when the pressure becomes too high on the plane, when it goes too high, it cracks up. So they said when they apply the pressure to the system, we'll crack up. So now mass shootings and all of this is on the rise. We're cracking up. And we're trying to stay high 24 hours a day. And they're making the weed stronger, but less lasting less. So we got to spend every dime on more weed, more drugs, more liquor, more church, more hopes, more lottery tickets, bigger cars, bigger homes that we can't afford, but they give it to you on credit and loans so you can feel high, like in They Clone Tyrone. Give them the things that make them feel high. In closing, and I'm reading, therefore, the silent weapon is a type of biological warfare. It attacks the vital options and mobility of the individuals of society by knowing, understanding, manipulating, and attacking their source of natural and social energy and their physical, mental, and emotional strengths and weaknesses. That's why they capture people and lock them up. They study them. They study them on the cameras in the prison. They see what happens when you deprive a strong man of sex. He's going to start screwing another man. They see what happens when you take weak women and put them amongst men. And most of the time, they're not very attractive women, but they got a booty. Next thing you know, they're pregnant from a prisoner. All of this is programmed. That's what was happening in They Clone Tyrone, but they're replicating. And this ain't just people. Satan said to God, I'm walking up and down, to and fro, seeking for souls that I can devour. And that's what's happening. That's in the book. It's a lot of technical stuff, the models, the industry, and everything. They even talk about time flow relationships and how to take up a person's time. I did a commentary entitled Blind Leading the Blind, and 3 of the concepts of this, the time flow relationship and self-destructive oscillations: hindsight, present flow, and foresight. And in the Blind Leading the Blind, I talked about all the different sites. You can go to my page at YouTube. This ain't no entertainment. I ain't trying to talk no entertainment to you. I'm not trying to impress you with me coming to God and, you know, my wife and I we're all into God. No, we're not. My children are not with me in this, but they're not stupid. They got the same knowledge, but they don't accept this, because this means you have to deny the world. And it's a hard thing to do, man. Hard thing to do. And people think you crazy, but I don't want nothing to deal with this world, no people or nothing, if it means I got to lose the level of comprehension that God has given me. I want to thank you all for tuning into this. And I think I got all the information of where I lost my notes. But they study how to take up our time. That's why TikTok and all that stuff was invented, to take up our time. And if you remember, the young boy wasn't in school. He was telling Fontaine where to find his enemies, taking up our time. Fontaine would come home from doing crime and turn on the TV and make a sandwich. Didn't even realize his mama wasn't real until he woke up. There's a chapter entitled Economic Amplifiers. I mean, it's broken down, man, how to control the whole situation. I'm not kidding you. This is bigger than just reading from a book, because the book has been manipulated. This book called Bible has been manipulated, and only someone with God's knowledge can interpret it properly. When Joseph found out his future with God, his father told him, don't tell your brothers, because they'll get jealous, they'll kill you. Anybody that finds out that you have knowledge that they don't have when they think they God's chosen, they'll want to kill you. So after all of they put us into, they comprised a method of coping with the adaptability and behaviors that we had to deal with. You know how they did that? They offered us a consumption of alcohol, consumption of drugs, entertainment, religious factors influencing behavior, and other methods of escaping from reality. See, you don't mistake me talking about religion and God. God is real. Religion can be whatever you want it to be. God comes to every race, every people. He don't talk to black people like he talked to white people, but he comes to all of us. He don't talk to the Chinese like he talked to black people. See, you all think Jesus was born in America, but Jesus was born in the East, and he spoke Aramaic, and he went to Eastern colleges, schools, to learn his job. Yeah, he did. Then he came among the people. But y'all just think we just get blessed like osmosis, like things just all of a sudden happen. That's why we want to win the lottery. We want to be instantly rich without the study. 52 minutes in, I think I can read this. Diversion, the primary strategy. Experience has proven that the simplest method of securing silent weapons and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of basic systems principles on the one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand. Y'all see what happened to that girl in it? Y'all see what happened to the fight in it? Anything we could do to keep busy and not face reality. This has been part 2. Part 3 is going to be heavy duty, God willing, if I'm allowed to do it, if I'm still here physically. And I pray God will allow me to live that long, longer than that, to keep going until he says stop. But in closing, social programming is a thing, man. I think I had a definition of social programming. Says the world is malleable. Everything in it can be shaped and molded to our liking. But it's only when we begin to question what is present to us as truth that we realize we have this power. Most what we experience is not fact, but the result of our interpretation, perception, belief, and stories about the so-called truth. Social engineering is an attempt to trick someone into revealing information that can be used to attack them or attack their system. So people have come to study us. And that was the purpose of turning black people white, so that mind could come among us and learn our ways. They've manipulated music, hip hop. They've taken over everything that we hold dear. We don't have a chance. Nobody likes the black man. Nobody. The competition for the racist white society of today right now is the Mexican, because the Mexican has the cartel and they will chop you into little pieces. They're organized because the Mexicans will pull together and make something of value, but black folks were broken and we won't do that. So when they cloned Tyrone, there still was no unity with the exception of Slick Charles, Slick James, Yo-Yo, and Fontaine. When they unified, they made a difference. But they first had to get on the same accord. This is so difficult amongst us. We won't do it. We refuse to do it. We're still in our church is better. Our God is better. The way my pastor do it is the best. The way my boss does it is the best. We are so divided and thinking that we're right in our division. If you were amongst the people of Jesus' time, you wouldn't like Jesus either. You like him now because, as it says, you molded him to become what you like. But if he was really here and you had to deal with it for real, you wouldn't like him. You would find more favor in the Satan that tells you, do what you want to do. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Thank everyone for tuning in again on every platform. Please like and share the information. It's getting more and more difficult to do, man. So I thank y'all for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong, took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone, and then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone, solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.